Israel and the PLO put it in writing after decades of hatred. Is this the first step toward peace? This is the CBS Evening News. Good evening. Connie Chung is on assignment. Momentum is building tonight for peace in the Middle East. As Israel and the PLO formally agreed to end their armed struggle today, King Hussein of Jordan said he too expects to sign an agreement within days on a framework for peace with Israel. The United States resumed talks with the PLO, and President Clinton said peace will come with what he called, quote, guarantees. But as Bob Simon reports now from Israel, all the hopeful signs came amid continued doubts, threats, and more violence.
While history was happening inside the Prime Minister's office, protesters outside were trying to block its path. Right-wing Israelis, settlers mainly, afraid that Rabin was signing away the deeds to their land. On part of that land in Gaza, Muslim fundamentalists were on the march, convinced the PLO was selling them out. But Foreign Minister Shimon Peres defended the pact as a triumph of the future over the past.
What we are trying seriously is to get rid of a poisonous past and to use a biblical wish to return to a land of milk and honey.
It was a ceremony of recognition, but in a far deeper sense than is usually conveyed by that diplomatic phrase. For 45 years, the Israelis and the Palestinians have refused to recognize each other's existence as a nation, as a people. They've been waging war in an attempt to obliterate each other from this land. In 1948, the Palestinians turned down an offer to split the land with the Jews. They went to war instead and lost. The Jews became a nation, the Palestinians became refugees. In 1964, the PLO was formed to turn that around. In 1967, the war that was meant to do that backfired. Led by a general named Yitzhak Rabin, the Israelis conquered more land. 2 years later, Yasser Arafat took over the PLO and became the prophet of terror. His disciples blew up airplanes, hijacked others, murdered civilians, athletes at the Munich Olympics. The world will not have a minute's peace, the terror proclaimed, until the Palestinians get back the land, all the land. In their nation-building enterprise, the Jews behaved as if there were no Palestinians. In fact, the early Zionists proclaimed this region a land without a people for a people without a land. They defined their borders with bulldozers. They built settlements on Arab olive groves. While the PLO made speeches about driving Israelis into the sea, Israel did just that to the PLO. It invaded Lebanon in 1982 with the express purpose of chasing Arafat out. It succeeded. Arafat boarded a boat to Tunis. Soon, presumably, he'll move again to Gaza or the West Bank. Today's ceremony recognized his right to do that, the right of his people to have a home in a small part of the land which two peoples claimed as their own. Bob Simon, CBS News, Tel Aviv.
Most of the world is applauding the peace accord as a historic step forward, at least a hope for peace. But in the Middle East, hardliners, including fanatics on both sides, are vowing to wreck it. Correspondent Alan Pizzi has more on that from inside Lebanon.
One man who won't get peace from the New Deal is Yasser Arafat. Radical Palestinians today declared a death sentence on him. Even those who back Arafat say there has to be more than peace.
My father.
This is what Palestinians want, a passport for their own state to replace the one they lost when Israel came into being.
I want to say I'm a Palestinian, and this to be again known for everybody. I don't like to feel as if I am a stranger coming from a new planet.
As refugees, Palestinians have few legal rights. Building and expanding real peace will depend very much on the ability of Israel's Arab neighbors to give those Palestinians who don't return to whatever state emerges from the peace deal a status other than refugee. Israel's acceptance of a Palestinian state is crucial to that. Jordan, Syria, and Lebanon all have their own agendas with Israel, and the Palestinians are bargaining chips. Jordan has the most acute problem. 60% of King Hussein's subjects are Palestinian. He will link any peace agreement to Israeli assurances that a future Palestinian state won't affect his delicate political balance. Syria is interested in a peace deal that will get back the Golan Heights. Syrian President Hafez al-Assad isn't opposing the Arafat-Israeli deal now, but he still hosts radical Palestinian factions who could wreck the peace plan unless he gets what he wants, including continued influence in Lebanon, which is still partly occupied by Israel. Until the Israelis leave, the radical Hezbollah will fight them, hampering the Lebanese government's efforts to find foreign investment to rebuild the war-shattered economy. So Lebanon won't do a unilateral deal with Israel either.
We have agreed with Syria that a peace treaty will be signed together.
Yasser Arafat looks like a bigger insurance risk than ever, and that means the future of peace still comes with a high premium. Alan Pizzi, CBS News, Beirut.
President Clinton made it clear again today that the United States will be a key player, not only in playing host to Monday's peace arrangement ceremony, but also ensuring the peace on the ground. White House correspondent Rita Braver has the latest on that.
Accompanied by his Secretary of State, President Clinton appeared on the White House lawn today to make the formal announcement.
And in light of this week's events, I have decided to resume the dialogue and the contacts between the United States and the PLO.
And though the U.S. was left out of the secret negotiations between Israel and the PLO, the president plans to be a player from now on.
The United States will continue to be a full and an active partner in the negotiations that lie ahead to ensure that this promise of progress is fully realized.
Earlier, Mr. Clinton met with members of Congress who expressed broad support for the peace agreement, but acknowledged it will be expensive for the U.S. and other nations to fund security in the Gaza.
Everybody's going to look to the United States as being the principal guarantor and the principal moderator of what's going to be a peace in Israel and in the West Bank. And that is going to cost some money.
Aboard Air Force One en route to California, Mr. Clinton called past presidents and invited them to Monday's White House signing ceremony.
But I think there are a lot of hard times to be faced in the future, but this is now broken the ice.
And this will be a big test for a president who's been pegged as weak on foreign policy.
Every American president who gets elected, whether he likes it or not, whether he knows it or not, is really is a viceroy for the Middle East. The problems of the Middle East always end up on the desk of an American president.
The president today promised guarantees to ensure the peace, and he talked to leaders of Syria, Lebanon, and other Middle Eastern nations, expressing hope that this historic accord will facilitate progress across the region, Dan.
Rita, thanks. Straight ahead on tonight's CBS Evening News, the First Lady's health care revolution. CBS News has some exclusive details and a look at how the Clinton plan may help those who need medical insurance but can't get it.
Take the fork in the road. The new Accord from Honda.
Last week really scared me. My dad's stomach was really bad, but he wouldn't admit it. He has this thing about doctors. I was afraid he had an ulcer. And you know what? The doctor said Mylanta. It was indigestion, the kind that needs really strong medicine.
Mylanta is strong medicine, strongly recommended. It's the antacid doctors recommend most.
My doctor said Mylanta.
Also available in tablets and now gel caps.
Hillary Rodham Clinton today gave the most complete account to date of her and her husband's upcoming plan to reform health care in the United States. And CBS News has now learned additional key details about how the Clinton plan would pay for health care and at the same time try to put a lid on costs. Correspondent Linda Douglas has shaken loose the new details.
Before a group of state legislators, the First Lady outlined the Clinton health care revolution. Radical changes in everything from health care priorities to funding. And the latest draft of the Clinton health plan, obtained by CBS News, makes clear for the first time that the federal government will regulate insurance rates.
What we do then is to have a budget as a cap or a discipline over the private sector.
According to the draft plan, the federal government would calculate a price rate for insurance premiums in each state. Insurance plans that exceed that rate would be penalized. Critics, including Democrats, say the plan sounds suspiciously like price controls, which the Clintons promised to avoid.
A price control is a price control. If you have a bureaucrat in charge, you have a bureaucrat in charge. And these arbitrary limits on things are going to end up hurting American consumers.
The Clinton plan also calls for caps on some drug prices and gives states the right to set some doctor fees. Republican Senator John Chafee, a health reform advocate, warned many in Congress will strongly oppose too much government regulation.
I don't know who it is that sets the rates. And inevitably, I think there's going to be unfairness in those rates.
The First Lady warned that without stringent cost control measures, health care spending will bankrupt the nation.
What we are not open to is a stand-pat, negative, naysaying opposition that will not recognize the reality of the problem facing this country, both in human and economic terms.
Next month, the Clintons will begin barnstorming the nation, arguing that Americans pay more for health care and are less secure about it than in most other nations. Members of Congress won't argue with that, but they will likely pick apart most of the Clinton solutions. Linda Douglas, CBS News, Washington.
It's no secret that a key goal of health care reform is to give medical coverage to millions of Americans who now can't afford any and who have none. CBS News now has been told that the plan would also cover millions of Americans who've previously applied for medical insurance but been turned down. CBS News health correspondent Dr. Bob Arnott has that part of the story.
Caitlin Francis is a normal 2.5-year-old in every way except one. She was born with only 1 year, and because of that, she is considered uninsurable.
I can't get insurance for her, not even for something as simple as her medical checkups or her shots.
Caitlin has what the insurance industry calls a pre-existing medical condition, a medical problem that is known at the time someone applies for insurance. It's often the reason companies deny coverage, claiming it's too costly. The government reports up to 5 million Americans a year are denied health coverage on the basis of pre-existing medical conditions, which include even the most common health problems: cancer, heart disease, high blood pressure, arthritis, diabetes, plus many genetic diseases. CBS News has learned the administration's health reform plan will ban pre-existing medical conditions as reasons for denying health coverage.
All of us want to eliminate pre-existing conditions because we think that every American ought to be covered, not simply those who are perfect from a health point of view.
The health insurance industry agrees the system needs to be changed.
The federal government has to set forth a uniform set of ground rules that all insurers and all employers have to abide by.
But there's still no help for the uninsured like Caitlin Francis. Her parents can't afford to pay for reconstructive surgery, which they say is essential for Caitlin's emotional development.
I feel frustrated, I feel angry, I feel pain for that little girl who never asked for this.
But one big question remains. Will healthy Americans be willing to pay higher taxes or higher premiums so that those in greater need of medical care can get the help they really need? Dr. Bob Arnott, CBS News, New York.
When it comes to preventing illness, a lot of Americans apparently could be doing a lot more to be healthy. In the largest study of its kind, researchers found early signs of heart disease were rampant even among teenagers, both male and female. These findings were based on autopsies. Michigan's Dr. Jack Kevorkian has attended another suicide, his 18th. He was present in suburban Detroit when a 73-year-old man suffering from bone cancer took his own life last night. Just hours before, Dr. Kevorkian appeared in court in connection with helping another man kill himself. The doctor is charged with breaking a new Michigan law that bans assisted suicides. Stay here with us now for more of the CBS Evening News, including a new shootout in Somalia and some exclusive information about the U.S. military's role.
Day after day, you make those glasses of thick Metamucil disappear. Why not make them all disappear with Fibercon? Doctor-recommended Fibercon gives you the same fiber regularity in tablets.
Easy-to-swallow tablets.
Get doctor-recommended Fibercon.
Every second of an asthma attack can feel like an eternity. That's why there's Primatene Mist. Primatene opens clogged breathing tubes fast when speed counts. Primatene Mist, fastest type asthma relief without a prescription.
Everybody needs some money.
sometime. Everybody needs some cash somehow.
When you need money fast.
Hello, Sue.
Remember Western Union. We send more money to more people in more places than anyone else in minutes.
Thanks.
Something in my heart just told me my sometime is now.
Western Union, the fastest way to send money.
Winn-Dixie discount snacks, 10% every day. I saved almost 30 cents on just one bag of potato chips. And that's good because some people can't stop at one chip. I can't stop at one bag. Help yourself, I got a whole bathtub full. Winn-Dixie discounts greeting cards 40% every day. This $3 card cost me $1.80, and that's good because I buy cards for everyone. Happy birthday, Mom. Happy birthday, Dad. Happy birthday to the world's greatest boss.
Sick of repeats? So are we. If you have to go to prison, you don't want to go where Mike Wallace went. That brand new story, Sunday.
United Nations peacekeepers in Somalia have run into another ambush, and tonight U.S. troops are again being blamed for killing women and children while defending themselves on the streets of Mogadishu. David Martin has some exclusive information as he reports this new shootout comes amid rising calls for the U.S. to get out of Somalia.
U.S. helicopters circled over the scene of an ugly shootout between Americans and Somalis in which gunships fired into a hostile crowd threatening to overwhelm a UN convoy. The American commander could see women in the crowd before he opened fire.
I didn't say I fired on women and children. I said I fired on armed Somalian militiamen within hand grenade throwing range of soldiers who had been ambushed.
Attempting to justify the action, which left a still unknown number of Somali women and children killed or wounded, a UN spokesman vividly described just how impossible conditions in Mogadishu have become.
Everyone on the ground at that particular point in that vicinity was a combatant, as far as we were concerned. Whether they shouldered a weapon at that moment or not, they were a combatant because they meant to do us harm.
2 American soldiers were wounded, but U.S. policy in Somalia may have been the biggest casualty.
We went to Somalia to keep people from starving to death. Now we are killing women and children because they're combatants. It's got to stop. It's got to stop, and it's got to stop soon.
And the U.S. military agrees. CBS News has learned that General Joseph Hoare, the commander of American forces in Somalia, has sent a strongly worded message to Joint Chiefs Chairman Colin Powell, warning that the U.S. is on the wrong track. If the solution for Mogadishu is a large-scale infusion of troops, and if the only country available is the U.S., it's time to reassess our commitment. In a second message entitled Mission Creep, Hoare warns that U.S. troops are doing much more than they originally agreed to do, and there doesn't appear to be any end in sight to UN requests for assistance.
But Hoare has no new solutions to offer except to hang in there and hope U.S. troops get lucky and capture or kill the fugitive warlord Mohammed Aidid. David Martin, CBS News, the Pentagon.
What will General Colin Powell do for an encore when he retires as chairman of the Military Joint Chiefs at the end of this month? Religious broadcaster Pat Robertson, a Republican, is saying now what some others have said before, that Powell might be the best candidate either party could have for a 1996 run for the presidency and would, and now I quote Robertson, win in a walk. Powell has not talked up a second career in politics, but he hasn't ruled it out either. Still to come on tonight's CBS Evening News, Eye on America. Tonight, a southern highway, the driving force of a national debate over race in politics.
You know, a Carnival cruise is the best vacation value going. You can enjoy fun days at sea, fun-filled nights, fabulous food.
Oh, boy, you can say that again.
Great Scott, Willard, what are you doing out here?
Kathy, I'm having the time of my life.
Take a 3-, 4-, or 7-day vacation on Carnival, the most popular cruise line in the world.
Boy, I can't wait until the midnight buffet.
You think you'll have any room left?
What are you, a comic?
Since Maxwell House Light gives you the rich taste of Maxwell House coffee, but with half the caffeine, you may want to get a bigger cup. Maxwell House Light, now also an instant, and good to the last drop.
This is hydroplaning in less than an inch of water, and they're being pulled by Goodyear all-season AquaTread radials. AquaTread's deep groove design channels water away as you drive for outstanding traction. Hydroplaning, AquaTreading. Think about it.
Anna wants me to try something I've never tasted before.
It's the Kellogg's Mueslix.
Don't you just love the way she talks?
The taste of the Kellogg's Mueslix cereal is very surprising.
Hey, this is very surprising.
It's got plump raisins.
They are plump.
The flakes very crispy in the Kellogg's Muesli.
It's crispy.
The crunchy almonds, the brown sugar, and the yummy dates.
It's yummy.
Surprise yourself with the fabulous taste of Kellogg's Mueslix.
No. Kellogg's Mueslix. So I'm thinking, how bad does Reggie White, now of the Packers, want to beat his former teammates on the Eagles? Sunday on CBS. I'm a big fan.
The Constitution of the United States lays out the goal, some would say the promise, of equal representation in Congress for all American citizens. Over the years, that has turned out to be easier said than done. Ethnic minorities, especially African Americans, have been fighting to redraw congressional maps to give them a fairer pipeline to power. Now some white Americans are fighting back, and the courts are listening. Correspondent Susan Spencer has tonight's Eye on America.
Interstate 85 may seem a strange spot for a photo op with a congressman, but it snakes through one of the oddest-shaped congressional districts in the country, a district that has ignited a new debate over the role of race in politics.
It seems like they're bending over backwards to do whatever it takes to get a black official elected, and I don't think it's necessary.
Hogwash, says Democrat Mel Watt, who thinks that without redistricting, he wouldn't have had a prayer.
Whites simply are more inclined to vote for whites. Blacks are more inclined to vote again, for blacks.
Watt's district gobbles up black inner-city neighborhoods while skirting the white suburbs. Meandering 170 miles, it begins to look, some people think, like a lizard. Maybe a ketchup blob. How about a bug on your windshield? Here at its narrowest point, the district runs right down Interstate 85. In fact, the district is Interstate 85. That's led to a local joke that if you drive down the freeway with your car doors open, you can kill half the people of the district. The Supreme Court, though, is not amused. Declaring the district smacks of political apartheid, it ordered a lower court to hear a lawsuit brought by 6 local citizens, including Dorothy Bullock and Ruth Shaw.
The district was created for one group and effectively cuts out the other groups of people in that district.
We certainly didn't do it for a racist reason. We did it because we didn't think it was constitutionally right.
Nice to meet you.
How you doing?
Watt's defenders note that oddly shaped districts protected white incumbents for years with few complaints. While this district may look funny, they add, it gives inner-city minorities a voice they otherwise would not have.
I'm sick right now, but I'm just not able to buy the medicine.
And none of this medicine is covered under Medicaid?
No. By them being black, they seem to understand about the black problem. You know, they understand because they know where they come from.
Leavening.
But understanding was notably lacking when Watt dropped by the local Chamber of Commerce. Though many here have businesses in his district, he doesn't pretend to go along with their views. Nor with those of renegade Black Caucus member Gary Franks, a Republican who wants to outlaw the very redistricting that got Watt elected.
To tilt the scale in any direction would be wrong. We should look for a fair system and not one that would favor whites, nor one that would favor blacks or browns. It would be wrong.
Gary Franks says that things like this make him feel like a second-class citizen.
Well, I think if you ask the black citizens of North Carolina, it is the absence of representation in Congress that makes them feel like second-class citizens, not the physical appearance of a district on a map.
Lonnie Guinier, whose views led to the withdrawal of her nomination to a top civil rights job, thinks ending consideration of race could send scores of black officials packing.
I'm the messenger bearing the bad news, that race is still an important cue in political elections. And we can't ignore that in our aspiration to be a colorblind society. I think we also have to be a just society.
The question, of course, is how. given history how to right those old wrongs without creating new ones. For Eye on America, this is Susan Spencer in North Carolina.
You're about to see another side of Effordent. Two-layered Effordent. The white side helps clean and deodorize with Arm & Hammer baking soda. The blue side also has more mint to provide more freshening power than ever before, making this the best Effordent ever. Two-layered Effordent. Clean, fresh dentures come out of the blue.
Day one in the middle of nowhere. The meals have been superb. It's a good thing they have a fitness program aboard every Royal Caribbean ship. Maybe I'll work out tonight before dinner. Maybe I won't. There was something about the streamers at our Bon Voyage party that told me this is going to be the vacation of a lifetime.
You've got some Royal Caribbean coming.
As a kid, I naturally burn off anything I ate. As an adult, I ride bikes that don't go anywhere.
Take a new look at Total. More than just good nutrition, it's adult nutrition.
Oh, sure, cornflakes are okay, but I switched to Total. It's better for adults, with a whole day's worth of 12 vitamins and minerals, just 100 calories. I'd have to eat a lot of cornflakes to get all these vitamins. Total's made for me, so now I'm getting somewhere.
Total. More than just good nutrition, it's adult nutrition.
On August 11th, we surprised our newest winner.
It's here for $20 million.
I won Publishers Clearinghouse. They're here, the prize patrol. Hurry up over.
You deserve it. Oh my gosh.
Congratulations. It was a day no one there will ever forget. We're the Publishers Clearinghouse Prize Patrol, and we're looking forward to seeing you soon.
Finally tonight, some notes on the world in which we live, some effort at context, perspective, and what's real. The New York Times pointed out today a trick photograph that appeared in Life magazine 5 years ago. Through high-tech video trickery, Life magazine showed Yasser Arafat meeting the Prime Minister of Israel under the smiling gaze of the President of the United States. That was supposed to be a prime example of a scene that could never really happen. But 5 years later, it has. Also, 5 years ago, no one foresaw that today the Berlin Wall would be down, the Soviet Union would be gone, Germany would be unified, and South Africa would be calling for free elections. It's not that we live in an age of miracles. The problem is that we often can't see through the images around us. Behind the Cold War, communism was dying. Behind apartheid, freedom was building. And behind war and terror in the Middle East, hopes for peace were waiting to be born. On Monday morning, CBS News will have complete coverage of the signing of the peace accord at the White House, and of course we'll have a full report on the historic day's events Monday night here on the CBS Evening News. For Connie Chung and all of us here at CBS News, Dan Rather reporting and thanking you for choosing CBS. Don't forget 60 Minutes on Sunday. We'll see you Monday.
Experience CBS News. This is CBS.